So now the district has set up a bunch of apps on your iPad. The only problem is that these apps are kind of all over the place. And so chances are you're going to want to come up with a better way to organize these apps into something that makes a little bit more sense. So the way I do that is by simply pressing and holding my finger on one app to get started. So let's say, for example, I wanted to put some of these Google apps all in one folder called Google. So I have a Drive app, I have a Docs app, there's a Maps app, all in this one page. And so if I tap and hold down with my finger and keep it pressed down on my Drive app, it's going to start making all these little apps wiggle, and you're going to see a little X in the corner. Now the X will actually delete the app. We don't want to do that. But if I wanted to go ahead and group some of these apps together into a folder, I would simply take one app and drag it on top of the other. It doesn't really matter which one I use. So if I take my Docs app and I drag it while it's wiggling on top of my Drive app and let go, it will simply add that app to that folder. And you can have multiple pages on where it goes when you drop it on top of there. So let me show you that again. So let me show you that one more time. I'm going to hold down the Docs app, I'll drag it on top of Drive, and then let go, and it simply adds it to that folder. Now if I tap on that folder and open it up, by default, that folder is called Productivity. I don't like that, so I'm going to close that out, and I'm going to hit Google Apps is what I'm going to name that folder. And then I tap, and now I'm back in here. So now if I have some other Google apps, here's my Google Maps app. Maybe I want that in there too. I drag it on top and be able to let go. All right, it is a little touchy. Sometimes it's easy to accidentally jump back and forth from app to app. That's fine. Just simply go back and try it again. If you have apps on another page, it works the same way. I simply tap and hold and swipe to the edge of the screen, and once I hit the edge, it will then go. Sometimes you might even drop it somewhere on that page first, let go, and then drag and drop it again to get it back into that folder. I can open up apps in a folder. I can rearrange apps within here as well. And so I can create a whole bunch of different folders to help organize my apps to find them whenever I need to. Another helpful way to organize when I'm working on my iPad is using what's called the dock down here at the bottom. Now the dock is nothing that should be foreign to people who have been using a Mac for a long time, but it is pretty new to the iPad. And so the way the dock works is something similar. So if I were to tap and hold down on an icon, like so, and hold it until they all wiggle again, now I have these apps ready to be moved. So if I wanted my Drive app in my dock, I can just tap on that and I can drag it down here into my dock and let go, and it'll add that Drive app directly to my dock. Now, you'll notice there's a line in the center of your dock, or probably towards the right-hand side. Anything that's to the right side of that line are apps that Apple puts there by default. These are simply recently used apps that it will automatically do the ones you're using most often, and it'll put those there for you. But the left side, you can customize with 10, 12 different apps if you want to be able to make that easier. The other option I could do is if I put Drive back into my Google folder, I tap and hold till things wiggle. I can actually drag a whole folder's worth of apps into there as well. And so now, if I simply hit the home button to stop my wiggling, anytime I want to access my Google apps, I can tap, and then boom, they're all right there, and those will always be there and visible for me.